Hey guys, Tamago here. So it's been a while since my last animated video. The last one I did was the New Year's joke PSA, and as expected, I've been getting a lot of questions such as, when's your next animation? What happened to the animation? Why did you stop animating? I got bored. That's the basic answer, but I'll go further in depth. I started animating back in 2010. I was in year 7, so I was 11 years old, and I was on my school's spelling bee team. 3 things about the spelling bee team. 1, we actually won our local heat by 1 point and went to McDonald's to celebrate. 2, we got knocked out in the semi-finals. The word I got wrong was disarray. I spelt it with 1 R instead of 2, and it still haunts me to this day. 3, in the months leading up to the competition, we'd have spelling practice after school a couple of times a week. Now, one of these times after practice, I was walking towards the bus stop with a friend of mine who was also on the team, and he pulled out his phone and started showing me a video of these 2 stick figures fighting. I think it was supposed to be like Dragon Ball Z or something, and I remember watching that and thinking it was pretty cool. I asked him where he found it, and he was like, "Oh nah, I made it." I'm sorry, what? So the whole bus ride home, he's telling me about this program called Pivot Stick Figure Animator, how to get it, how to use it, and I'm soaking all of this in because I'm just mesmerized. Before that point, I had not even considered the possibility of a single person being able to make an animation by themselves without any professional training. But now sitting across from me was a kid my age who had done just that. I mean, only moments ago, this guy couldn't even spell necessary. 1 C, 2 S's. And now he's showing me that in his spare time he works for Pixar? Huh? So I got home that night, downloaded Pivot, and started working on animations of my own. And they weren't anything great, but that didn't matter because I was just having so much fun discovering this whole new world of things I could do with animation. I think that night actually, I made what would eventually become Overreaction Episode 1. I recorded my screen with my phone, just like my friend had done, and I started showing it to people in my school. I remember I showed it to this one guy. He was like, "You did not make that." I was like, "Yes, I did." "You did not make that." "Oh, yes, I did." It's funny because looking back on it, the animation really wasn't anything too impressive. Like, it wasn't even the version that you can watch on YouTube right now. I was showing people a version that had no sound, that was recorded using my mobile phone from like 2010, that could only record at 240p anyway. Like, it was 100% believable that an 11-year-old made that thing. But of course, at the time, we were like, "You did not make that." "Yes, I did." "Nah, you did not make that." "Oh, yes, I did." Upon the recommendation of a teacher, I think, I decided to upload the video to YouTube. So I added the sound effects, gave it a title, Overreaction Episode 1, and I even added the whole to be continued thing to the end. Cause it was supposed to be a series, but we all know how that turned out. Having it on YouTube made it a lot easier to share because people could bring it up on their phones now or even watch it when they got home from school, so definitely a good idea. Eventually I showed the video to my ICT teacher and she introduced me to a little program called Macromedia Flash Professional 8. Or just Flash, that's what most people call it. I started playing around with the program and found that I liked it a lot more than Pivot because of how much more flexible it was. There was just a lot more you could do in it. Over the summer holidays, I gave myself a bit of a summer project, and that was Game Over, an animation about a stick figure who was going through a bunch of different obstacle courses and would eventually fight the final boss. I worked on it for almost the entire summer holiday and was having so much fun finding my way around Flash, figuring out how to do certain things and whatnot. When school resumed, I was going around showing people the video and they were like, "Oh, this is good." And I was like, "Really?" And they were like, "Yeah, this is actually really good." I showed it to this one guy and he was like, "You did not make that." I was like, "Yes, I did." Because the video had such a positive response from my friends, my teachers, and my family, I thought to myself, "Oh, okay, maybe this is good. I guess I should make some more." I started this series. I say series, it only lasted 2 episodes, but it was called Oddballs, and it was essentially me trying to remake Cyanide and Happiness. This was during their 4-year hiatus from YouTube, so they already hadn't uploaded anything new for a long time. So I thought I would take the responsibility upon myself to restore Cyanide and Happiness with my own series, Oddballs. The first episode was about this guy who picks his nose but then digs too deep, and so he dies, and then the second guy comes along with a pack of sweets and picks his nose and pulls out this giant booger, which a third person then comes and eats because they thought it was one of the sweets. Listen, it was so weird, but that was peak comedy for me back then. And I've had people telling me that that's still their favorite video of mine, so There you go. That was actually the first video of mine that I voice acted in. I got myself this cheap Logitech microphone, which I used for a few years. If you're wondering why it's broken, it's because my mum sat on it. So from there, I just kept making animations, and I started making vlogs too, but I eventually stopped those because I wasn't too happy with the camera quality. I mean, look at that aspect ratio, like, how did I even achieve that? I started doing animated vlogs where I would rant about something insignificant and try and make it funny. The style of animation was also different. I would always call them half-animated adventures because there weren't any fluid movements. It was more like a slideshow. The good thing about it was that it allowed me to make my videos longer. Although I ran into a new problem, which was that I wouldn't know what to draw to match what I was talking about because I'd always write the script before I knew what the viewer would actually be seeing on the screen. And that's still a problem I run into today, but back then when everything that was showing had to be hand drawn, it was definitely harder. I kept on making animations. I started this series called Tama Gags, the first series on my channel to make it past 2 episodes, where I would do these really short animated sketches that allowed me to get videos out a bit more often. Eventually I started watching KSI and I was freaking obsessed. Like, I was a super fan, pretty much like every UK boy my age was back then, and like many UK boys my age back then are now. So I was browsing through YouTube one day and I saw that nobody had made an animation of the story of when he almost burnt down his house. And I was like, no way, this video needs to exist. So once again, I took the responsibility upon myself to make it happen. Listen, what can I say? I work for the people. I made the video in just under a week, I think. I was working on it non-stop. And once it was done, I really wanted KSI to see it, so I would spam tweet it at him. If you actually go back far enough on my Twitter, you'll see that I was tweeting this guy every day. Hey KSI, I animated you on my channel. Hey KSI, I animated you. Hey KSI. I even tweeted his brother at one point, at Comedy Gamer. Hey, I animated your bro on my channel. I was a beg. Despite my efforts, he never saw them, which was a shame, but oh well, I still had what I thought was a good video, and it was actually the best performing video on my channel so far. It had like 5,000 views after only a month, which when you have 200 or 300 subscribers is crazy. One evening I'm on KSI's channel and I see a video that was only uploaded 2 minutes ago, so I was super early. And then I noticed the thumbnail of the video looks like a frame from my video. So I was like, I look at the title and it says KSI Animated #2. So I was like, I click on the video and I see this.
Yo, your boy KSI, GWT, and I'm sorry, this is probably one of the most greatest animations I've seen in my life. Time ago, 2474 is his name, and Jesus Christ, you know what? Enough jabba jabba. Subscribe to him, check this out. Holy crap.
Let me tell you, the feeling of euphoria that came over me in that moment was unlike any other. You know, it felt like all the years of working on the channel, this thing that I was just doing because I had nothing else to do really, it felt like it had reached this critical point. And it's probably the closest I've ever felt to having made it, whatever that means. I gained about 9,000 subscribers overnight, which was crazy because it had taken me about 3 years to reach 400 subscribers, and I was actually planning for my 500 subscriber special right before it happened. When I went back to school, I was like a mini celebrity. People were saying stuff like, congratulations man, awesome job on the video man, don't forget me when you're famous. There was even this one guy that was like, you did not make that. I was like, yes I did. One thing that I had not considered before was the immense pressure I would feel posting videos to an audience that size. I mean, you gotta imagine, only about a month before, I was posting videos to an audience of 300 people, only about 100 of which would actually watch anything I posted within the first 24 hours of it being up. So to go from that to posting videos to an audience of 16,000 people, that's where it kind of plateaued. That was crazy pressure. There was a super high chance that at least 1,000 people were going to see whatever I put up in the first day. And I wanted to make sure that if I was going to give them something, then it would be good. I think that's also when I decided to unlist the original vlogs because they just didn't look right with the rest of the channel. Despite the newfound pressure, I still made videos. I released How to Be a YouTube Gamer, which I'd been working on for such a long time. I started that even before I started KSI Animated. I also released a couple more Tama Gags and a thank you video for 20,000 subscribers. And then nothing. For 4 entire months, I didn't post a single video, and to this day, that is the longest I've gone without posting. I wasn't even gone that long when I took a break for my A-level exams. The reason I was gone for so long was because I was having a really hard time working on my next video, which would eventually be spoilers. For some reason, I just couldn't bring myself to work on the video. I felt like SpongeBob when he had to write that report and all he could get out was what I learned at boarding school is. And I was stuck like that for 4 months. I thought it was maybe a motivation problem, so I started watching these videos trying to motivate myself to animate. And it was so weird because you'd be watching this motivational video and you'd be getting so pumped up like, yeah, I'm motivated. I'm gonna be successful. Let's get it. Like, animation isn't exactly the most glamorous or impressive thing to be watching in action, is it? I mean, there's a reason why motivational videos always have someone working out or running up some mountain in the background. Because if they use the video of someone studying, which is likely what the person watching it actually needs it for, it would be the most boring motivational video you would have ever seen. Anyway, let me get back to my tale. I guess the reason I was having such a hard time working on spoilers was because for the first time ever, I was starting to feel that I wasn't as into animation as I used to be. When I had started, it was this new and exciting thing I discovered, but that was 4 years ago at the time. You know, I was now 15, and I guess I was just beginning to lose interest in it. Regardless of that, I eventually finished the video and was really happy with how it turned out. The viewers seemed to really like it too. But after that experience, I knew I had to do something different, otherwise I wasn't gonna last too much longer. So in December of 2014, I released the first ever episode of Game Show, a series where I would pick an indie game and narrate my gameplay experience, try and make a story out of it. Despite it being a gaming video though, I still didn't feel confident enough to upload a video that had no animation in it, so I put in these segments where my character would be showing up on the screen. I just thought that if there was no animation, then nobody would like it, even though I also wasn't really sure if the animation was adding a whole lot to the video. 2015 rolls around and that was an interesting year for my channel for 3 reasons. 1, that was the year I posted the last ever tama gag. 2, I posted an update video which was the first time in about 3 years I would be showing my face on the channel. And that was a big deal because when I was doing the vlogs before, the only people watching were my friends and family really. So to now be revealing my face to over 25,000 people made me really nervous. 3, that was the year I posted what I considered to be my last ever proper animation. The last video that had frame by frame animation and lip syncing. I actually made a conscious decision not to do it anymore because I was starting to find the process quite draining and it just wasn't fun. But the big 1 million was a video idea I'd had for such a long time, I knew I had to get that done before I stopped. I was still doing the half animated stuff though. I made 2015 in gaming, loading, how to make a top 10 video. I was even experimenting with making videos that had really crude drawings so I could do them quicker, including a 7-minute video essentially roasting YouTube that I made in a single day. And while I was always happy with the videos I was putting out, it was becoming increasingly clear to me that I just wasn't as into animation as I used to be. It felt like I was doing it more for the end result, which was the final video, rather than for the enjoyment of the process itself. Which is fine when it comes to something like studying for an exam, but not so great when it comes to your hobby. Like if the only time you can enjoy playing basketball is when you've won the game, you probably don't like playing basketball that much. It was around this time I saw a comment that really got me thinking. It was something along the lines of, I really like your videos and I hope you can get a job as an animator at Disney one day. Which is a lovely comment to leave to someone with aspirations of becoming an animator, but I remember reading that and thinking, damn, that would suck. Like, doing animation as a side hobby is one thing, but doing it every single day with deadlines, objectives, and quality standards is a whole other thing. And I thought to myself, in 5 years, I don't still want to be animating. Like, I might not be completely sure what I do want to do in 5 years, but I'm pretty sure I don't still want to be doing this. And I think that was the first time I'd ever thought about it like that. Before, I was in such deep denial. I was thinking, oh, the reason I don't really like animating anymore is because of this. Or, oh, the reason I don't really like animating anymore is because of that. When really, the reason I wasn't that much into animation anymore was just because I didn't really like it anymore. I'd just grown out of it. And that's not to say animation is childish or anything. It just means that it was something I was incredibly interested in when I was younger, that as I grew older, 7 years older to be exact, I eventually lost interest in. And that's fine. Except it wasn't fine because I built my YouTube channel pretty much entirely around animation, and despite not wanting to animate anymore, I still wanted to make videos. So throughout last year, you might have noticed that my videos were gradually becoming less and less animated. There were fewer animated segments in Game Show until I decided to remove them completely. I started showing my face in videos a lot more, mainly because I finally had a decent camera. And if a video did feature the Tamago character, it usually wasn't the focus of the video, more like a feature, such as in the YouTube recommendations video or my Cuphead review. The two exceptions to this were the How I Got My Username video and the New Year's Joke PSA, both of which were ideas I'd had for years at that point, and I really wanted to make sure I got those done. And that brings us to this year, 2018, where you might have noticed I have not actually uploaded a single animated video at all this year. So yeah, that's why I stopped animating. And why I started. I wasn't expecting this to be so long, but I guess that's what happens when you try and put 8 years worth of events into one video. What I don't want anyone to take away from this is that I hate any of the animations on my channel. On the contrary, I love the animations on my channel. The ones I made between 2010 and 2013, love them. The ones I made between 2014 and 2017, love them. Even though I might not have had as much fun in the process of making those later ones, I am still really proud of how they all turned out. So if you really like them, then I'm glad you like them, because I like them too. What I would want people to take away from this video is that it's okay to change with time. Like when I was younger, I thought that there would be a point in my life where I would become this person and I would know who I am and I'd be that person forever. And I also thought that I had reached that stage at the age of 13. Huh? No, you're always gonna change throughout your life, no matter what age you are, because you can't grow without changing. And I'm pretty sure everyone can look at themselves from 5 years ago and think to themselves, at least in some aspect, damn, that kid had no idea, whether you're 19 or 55. In any case, I feel like the change has been quite positive for my channel because I've been having a lot more fun making the videos, and you guys seem to quite like them too. For example, the bargain hunt video, I didn't expect that to be so popular, but it turns out a lot of you really liked it, and I've been getting all sorts of requests to make more story videos, to make a bargain hunt 2, which... what? There was even this one guy who was like, "You did not make that! You did not make that!" I was like, bro, my face is literally in the video. Before I go, I think we should have a brief moment in memory of my old animations. They're not going anywhere, they'll still be on the channel, but just a moment to pay some respect. Is it done? Alright, so that's going to be it for this video. I hope that cleared everything up. I do want to say that I still know my way around Flash and actually still use it in some of my videos, so don't be too surprised if you see some slightly animated segments here and there. I still think it's pretty cool. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.